Good evening, everybody. It's 6 p.m. on the East Coast, 3 p.m. on the West Coast. Time for a very special early bird gets the worm Calamity Jane weekly live stream. James, how you doing this evening? You feeling like an old man? Is that why we're doing the early bird special? You got to go home and
Uh, I'm getting ready to leave for going out of town, holiday stuff, and figured, you know what? Maybe we could try to do Eastern time on Eric's watch this time around. And I could probably sneak away a little bit and try to get this done a little early today and hang out with you. So
I see. So
here we are.
right, right. So people on the West Coast are just now like in the middle of workday still, and people on the East Coast are getting off work. We've got hordes and hordes of viewers going, "What's going on?" They're gonna
Our
tune
tens,
in. Yeah,
our
they're gonna.
tens and tens of viewers.
Oh my God, they're gonna tune in at 9:30, and it's just, wait, what do you mean that the stream has already happened? And my response
Yeah,
is, well, you should have checked Facebook, right? Because I
yeah,
posted the
yeah,
time change on it.
yeah. Fair
Anyway,
enough.
I'm just doing a bit by myself now. So
Well, it's not by yourself because I'm an audience member and I thought it was kind of funny.
yeah,
So,
the operative word
so
being
there.
kinda.
Yeah, I mean, it's not your best work,
No, it's
but
not my best work. It definitely was
but
not my best work.
I always want to encourage and applaud your efforts. That's the thing. So I will never discourage you
Oh
from
man.
doing
God,
bits.
I've never felt more placated in my entire life.
I don't know. I hope it comes across as genuine. I do. I want to encourage it, but at the same time, yes, I will. I am going to be your harshest critic outside
Yeah.
of
Oh
yourself,
yeah, yeah,
though.
right. Well, yeah, yeah. Well, and when we're not on the stream, like when we get off the stream,
Yeah.
you're just gonna lay into me. It's gonna be awful. I'm
Yeah.
gonna regret the day I was born. What was with
Uh,
that bit? You talentless hack.
I always applaud any I'm guilty of this where Mita goes through my work and my awful bits all the time. So
Oh
I
yeah.
always like seeing I don't mind for me, I have no filter and I love falling on my face. So I don't know, hopefully you enjoy that too,
Oh yeah, of course. No, I love bits. I went to my improv theater's Christmas party yesterday. It was great. It was a super fun time. But there is a video on Instagram right now. Thank God it's only a story, so it'll disappear in 24 hours. Of a
Mhm.
bunch of the guy improvisers dancing like the girls do in rap videos, right? Around one of our female performers singing a song on the stage, and I
Like
got like
twerking and stuff.
not twerking, but just like
Oh,
fawning over her, right?
okay,
But I've got like a glass of wine in my hand while I'm dancing. It's the most obnoxious thing. Like I would,
Yeah, so
yeah, like that would be, if I ran for political office, that would be something that
yeah,
they
that
would
would
they would show to say, this guy,
yeah.
do you really want this guy
This
being
guy
your
to
state
represent you.
comptroller?
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, well, I mean, I guess your bit does not touch that. So I think we're really good then. There's no reason for me to rake you over the coals at all.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Well, while
yeah,
we shift gears, what are you planning on working on tonight?
I will share my screen. When we last left off, I was working on this pose, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna work on. You can kind of see here underneath it. Let me hide some stuff, but I will work on this pose tonight,
Okay.
and maybe even go into this pose.
Okay.
So these are the two poses. My goal is to try to get this pose done and even get to this pose, and we'll see what we get tonight as
Okay.
we hang out. So
Sounds good.
yeah, um, I was gonna, I don't, we talk about Facebook and or Meta a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
I don't go there that often, but I do pay attention to it once in a while. And so I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. I'm sure you've seen the news with John Carmack, who is sort of like a deity of sorts for FPS games, stuff like that. He's leaving Meta, right? Did you see this? I'm sure you saw this.
I saw a headline about it and went, I could not be less interested in this. Like, it is not
Okay.
possible for me to be less interested, and then didn't read the
Hmm.
article. So
Okay.
yes, like
That,
I have vague knowledge of this being a thing. Yes.
well, so it's funny because I'm not you play more FPS than I do, which is not. I mean, I'm saying like you're a hardcore Call of Duty person, but I really do. But I do. John Carmack to me is sort of like one of those mythical figures, like back in the past, in the early days of gaming, where
Mm-hmm.
so I like to pay attention to some of those guys, like and see what they're doing and stuff. So this is why I bring him up. But yeah, I thought it was interesting how he just left pretty much saying like he has I mean, I'll summarize it for you, but he pretty much said, "Yeah, supposedly I have a lot of clout, but I can't really persuade people to do anything when I can see a problem coming down the pipe, and I'm just kind of over it. And I'm going to move on to doing my own stuff, which is my own little AI deal on the side." But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's kind of a weird. I mean, I guess I'm trying to get into a larger, more meta conversation, but we're going to zoom out a little bit because does John Carmack have that much sway anymore? Like when it comes to, like he's more of a, like I said, he's a legendary mythical figure,
Right.
but is he more like kind of like Miyamoto at Nintendo, right? Like they're more like I think you used the term figurehead before.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what it seems like with him. Like I don't know, how much they've actually lost by him moving on.
I would
I don't
argue
know.
exactly zero.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I mean, I agree that Carmack is a important figure, but within a very specific subset of geek culture, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
most of the people who are consuming these preposterous Oculus commercials on TV, which anyway, that's an aside. We'll get to it.
Mm-hmm.
If you say John Carmack created that, they go who, right? I mean, like
Yeah,
99% of people are going to go who, right? Probably
yeah,
more than that.
yeah.
You and I know John Carmack because this is our milieu and we grew up with him. And that's not to say he's not an important figure within that space, right? I mean,
Mm.
we know who Daniel Day-Lewis is, but I suspect most people probably don't, right? Most normal people probably
Yeah.
just go, I like that movie, There Will Be Blood, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
what
Mm-hmm.
did you think of, what do you think of Paul Dano's performance? Who? Oh, the priest. Oh, that guy. Yeah, he was good, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
anyway, uh, um, so I don't think that him leaving will have any effect. Sort of like how outside of geek culture, the fact that James Gunn canceled uh, um, the Man of Steel 2 and Henry Cavill's not coming back as Superman,
Yeah, that's another
99% of the
weird one
world
too.
is like, I don't care, right? Or I don't
Yeah,
know. I didn't even know that he was, right?
yeah. Well, there is a little bit of it. Just you know what? And again, with everything, I mean, fans can get trapped on a lot of things. But I read this as well, like where they're saying, "Oh, we're gonna just boycott Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 because he got rid of Superman and we don't like it and blah 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 blah." And then The Rock, Dwayne Johnson's upset because he really tried to shoehorn in this Clark Kent cameo of
Mm-hmm.
Henry Cavill playing Superman playing Clark Kent in the post credit scene. But then Black Adam bombed in the theaters. I think I don't think it did
Mm-hmm.
very
Yeah, no, it
well. I mean,
completely bombed. Yeah.
and so I mean, sadly, I mean, money does talk, especially in Hollywood. And so if your franchise doesn't make money, they probably won't greenlight a number two.
Right.
That
Right.
kind of thing. So I don't know. It seems kind of like a weird. There's a lot of anger again for these used to being angry, but what do you like? What do you hope to accomplish? I don't think any. I think they're gonna still make what they want to make, and then Twitter, especially these days, Twitter is losing. In my opinion, my humble opinion, Twitter's losing a lot of credibility credibility by the day with how insane some of the stuff that happens on there is. But that's a whole other um, area. But I
Yeah.
just don't. I don't really trust Twitter as much as I would maybe even 5 years ago as to what they want to cancel on there and stuff like that, and like what to pay attention to. Now I'm actually going backwards. I'm actually on Yahoo News a lot now, and I just read the blurb and yeah, I know, but I just read the blurb and I just kind of just judge for myself what's going on. But I don't know. I don't know what the hubbub if it's going to be that big of a deal with Cavill not returning. I mean,
No.
there's a part of me that's looking forward to seeing a different take on Superman altogether.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. James Gunn is definitely cleaning house, and I don't know if it's just the sort of stereotypical new guy comes into power and throws his weight around kind of thing, or if there
Yeah.
really is a method to his madness, or I really don't know. I mean, it was a little bit surprising to me that he got tapped for that position, given that he's never really been in a position of creative power before, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And we've spoken about this in the past. I find him to be incredibly one note, If you've seen one of James Gunn's superhero slash sci-fi movies, you've seen all of them, quite frankly.
Yeah, have we
Um,
talked about that on stream or off stream? I can't remember if we have or not, but I remember
yeah,
your take on him.
yeah.
Um, I enjoy his movies. I enjoy the humor and stuff like that. But yeah, the last one the last one, I don't know about what is it called? Suicide Squad. He did Suicide Squad. And it was just okay. It wasn't anything to write home about. I think he really made his mark on Guardians Volume 1 and 2. The holiday special that was on Disney Plus that was released just a couple of weeks ago, whatever, is all right.
I, I mean, again, I don't think it's a big secret that I'm not a big fan of the Christmas season. So, right off the bat, you're working at 50% deficit with me. But I find like the Drax and Mantis characters so overexposed at this point, right? They were unexpected high points of the first two movies, and now just like anything, like too much of a good thing, right? Having the special focus entirely on them was just like, oh my god, this is way too much. And then like the Kevin Bacon thing was so I felt it was really out of left field. Like, let's just go through the list of celebrities who are willing to do this, and Kevin Bacon was the first one who said yes. I mean, I don't know.
I found, I mean, at first I thought the same thing until they did a callback to why they picked Kevin Bacon during the course of the story, because of Star-Lord doing his dance number based on Kevin Bacon's Footloose thing.
Right.
And so there was enough of a thread that I was like, okay, all right, that's fine. But so I'm assuming you read up on the Hollywood special, but you didn't watch it, right?
No, I saw the Hollywood special. I had to do it for work.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, I was a little surprised that Mantis and Drax did get a lot of the screen time.
And it's not. I mean, like the woman who plays Mantis is probably cheap, but Dave Bautista's expensive at this point. I mean, he's a megastar. So, like, it wasn't like they were just trying to go for the cheapest characters. You know, when they used to do those webisodes of The Office, and they would just get all the background people, right? Because they couldn't afford Steve Carell to do a webisode, right?
Yeah. Sure.
So it's not a case of cheap budget concerns, because Dave Bautista doesn't come cheap these days. But yeah, I don't know. I you know me, I'm not exactly like a big superhero movie guy anymore.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
It is weird though how excuse me. It is weird though how there's enough continuity in or world building in the holiday special that like you kind of need to see it. Right?
Yeah, it does.
It's
that's the thing.
super weird that they went in that direction.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like, you need to see it to kind of go into number 3. Without being kind of like, well, what happened? Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There's a major, I mean, I don't know, to avoid spoilers, but there's a major thing that's revealed in it that if you don't see it, then you're going to be completely out of the loop in number 3.
I know.
I'm sure that. Yeah.
Go ahead.
They're going to talk about it. I'm sure they're going to talk about number 3 in volume 3 at some point.
Yeah. No, when they made that reveal, I'm like, wait, this was supposed to be some stupid throwaway thing, and now you've made it so that everybody needs to watch this for it to make any sense.
Yeah, and case in point, my nephews were like, "Hey, Uncle James, did you watch?" Like they were trying to prank me into watching it because they thought it was not that good. So they were trying to troll me a little bit into watching it. And I watched it. I told them, "Well, you need to watch it because there's a major thing that happens in it." And then they kind of got quiet, like, "Oh, well, I guess they need to watch it now." And so the trolls didn't work because that backfired because now they had to watch it. Unless they don't, but they like Guardians of the Galaxy, so from what I can gather. So now I don't know. I'm wondering if they've watched it yet, because really that's the only thing worth. You just need to watch that first few, that little few minutes of it, and then that's all you need. Everything else is worthless, pretty much, for the most part. Yeah. But it makes me wonder about Volume 3 a little bit, and I know you may not be into it as much, but I mean, like I said, I enjoyed Volume 1 and 2.
Yeah, I mean, I'll end up knowing pretty much everything about it. It'll be a huge release next year, and so I'll definitely do a lot of articles about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's not left. If it weren't for if it weren't for this job, I mean, I would know nothing about what's going on with any of this stuff. But
Hmm.
I'm actually paid to know this stuff, so I know the stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
forced to. You are forced
I
to pay
kind of
attention to pop
am. Like
culture.
I'm pretty sure that any major release, like I'm pretty sure I could have them expense going to see Avatar, right? The new
Oh,
Avatar movie.
so you haven't seen it yet.
No, but I know everything about it again because of work.
Hmm.
I know every beat, and I don't care. I mean, I don't care about spoilers in general, right? Like,
Hmm.
I haven't watched it yet, but I am looking forward to seeing Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio.
Hmm.
And I've like scrubbed through it pretty quickly to do um, an article or two on it, and it's beautiful. I mean, like it's one of those
Yeah,
things
it
you
looks
could just
great.
watch on mute. I mean, it's
Hmm.
so beautiful, and because it's Guillermo del Toro, it's never simple with him. You know, he's really taken the story of Pinocchio in a really interesting direction. And I don't know anything about the original story, so maybe it's more true to the original story, and it's just that. But
Hmm.
it takes place in fascist Italy during the early days of Mussolini's rule,
Hmm.
and there's this a lot of Del Toro's movies have this kind of under um, sort of not subplot. My words are not working tonight. Anyway, um, so it's a he's done this before, but it's there's a very strong anti-fascist sentiment that's an undercurrent for the rest of the themes of the film, um, and it's really interesting that he went in that direction with it. So,
Hmm. Yeah, you kind of sold me on it too. Like I was gonna probably see it eventually. I don't rush out to see del Toro's stuff, or
well, it's on
but I will
Netflix,
watch it.
so
Yeah, and it's on Netflix, and I just there's so many other things on the queue, but
yeah,
I do want to look, I do want to watch it. Maybe we'll watch it tonight. I don't know.
yeah,
Um, but it looks good. It
yeah,
definitely looks good. You
yeah.
were
It's
telling me about
beautiful.
also this other one. The other one on Netflix is that Cabinet of
Oh,
Curiosities. You said that was
so
pretty
good.
good.
I finished watching it. The last one, The Murmuring, is without a doubt my favorite. It just I wish he would do this more. I mean, he didn't. It's based on a short story that he wrote, but he didn't write the script or direct it. But it's got his vibes all over it.
Hmm.
Um, he is a master of ghost stories. Just
Yeah, yeah.
one of my
Hmm.
favorite of his movies was one of the first ones he did, The Devil's Backbone, which is just this beautiful, beautiful musings on the nature of loss and grief, and then of course the travesties of the Franco Revolution in Spain, you know, in the mid 30s,
Hmm.
and um, it's one of the best ghost stories I've ever seen, and the last episode, The Murmuring, is equally as good. I mean, I was in tears. It was so beautiful.
Wow.
Just really great. And but the thing that I loved about it is like you'd have that, right? This
Mm.
really just kind of introspective, quiet, scary as hell ghost story, and then you'd have then you have an episode about like a demon that's trapped in a storage locker, right? You know, and
Wow.
it really runs the gamut. I think my only complaint, in as much as I have complaints, because it was really great, and I hope they do another season of it.
Hmm.
Um, you know, I've never been a huge fan of H.P. Lovecraft,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
Del Toro is, and that's fine, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't care for Lovecraft's stories specifically, but I love his world building and I love his overall themes, like the elder gods and these strange monsters and the
Hmm.
concept of Cthulhu and that kind of stuff. It's really cool. It's really clever, and it's one of the reasons why I love Hellboy, right? Because it takes these themes in this
Yeah.
world building that I love,
Hmm.
but then
Hmm.
puts it in stories that I actually give a shit about, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but you know, so Del Toro is just a huge fan of H.P. Lovecraft, and so two of the episodes are adaptations of Lovecraft short stories, and those
Hmm.
are honestly the weakest in the whole series.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, and since there's like only 8 of them, it's like a quarter of the episodes are kind of weak, unfortunately.
Hmm.
But all of the other ones are phenomenal. They're all great. Well, that's not true. There's one other one that I didn't love, but I mean, it's batting above 500, which is better than most pro baseball players, so I'll take it. Um,
Yeah, that's another one on my list too. But the thing about Del Toro is there's a little bit more of a creep factor, right? There's a little bit more tension and scariness to.
Yeah, it's not his
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, there is some gory stuff. One of the goriest ones is called the Autopsy, and I won't say much, but given the
Okay.
nature of the title, you kind of get a sense of
Yeah. All right. If it's called that, then you know it's
yeah,
gonna have. Yeah.
and it
Okay.
stars F. Murray Abraham, who I love. I mean, he's just such a phenomenal actor.
Who's what's he done? Like, what's he known
So, do
for?
you remember Amadeus? He played Salazari in Amadeus.
I'm gonna offend you right now. I don't think I've ever seen Amadeus all the way through. I can't remember it. I was a
That's all
child.
right.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let's just do the list instead of my brain is running at like 20% capacity right now, so I'm just gonna rather than there you are. Nope. Oh yeah, the Grand Budapest Hotel, of course.
Yeah.
Um, he's in the new season of The White Lotus,
Okay.
which, by the way, is awesome. It's oh my god, it's such a weird show. I'm almost done with season 2 at this point, and I can't tell if I hate the show or love the show, but it is incredibly compelling television.
Hmm.
Um,
I don't. Is that on? Is that on like FX or something? What is that on?
HBO.
HBO. Okay.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, I mean he's a. I'm trying to pick like a like a the singular thing that you would know him from. But honestly, he's mostly just a character actor. He does,
Okay.
supporting roles in films. He's done a lot of television, but he's great in everything that he does.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so let's see. I'm trying to find something that's like just that's the one that you're gonna know.
Hmm.
Yeah, he was in Star Trek Insurrection, but he was in so much makeup. He was the main villain in Star Trek Insurrection, but he was under so much makeup you'd never recognize him. Hmm. Yeah, I mean he's been in a million things, and I guarantee you'd recognize him if you saw him.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, I could Google him right
yeah,
here.
yeah.
Let's see. Hang on. What's his name? Sorry.
F. Murray Abraham.
F. Murray Abraham. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know who it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. 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 I
Yeah.
know exactly who he is. Okay.
Um,
Cool.
but anyway, so that episode is it's just so good. It was one of my favorites. The murmuring and the autopsy are probably my two favorites in the first season. And then I really dug um, uh, the first episode at like Lot 36, I think is what it was called. That was really fun too. That one was based on a short story by Guillermo del Toro as well. So, but yeah, highly recommend it whenever you get around to it. And if you haven't seen The White Lotus, that's another recommend. It's extremely compelling television. Whether it's the whole thing is basically a dark satire on the decadence and corruption of white wealth in America,
Okay.
and it's really interesting. It's really good.
Is it a period piece? Like,
No,
is
it's
it
it's contemporary. It takes
okay?
place like my understanding is it was supposed to be a one-off thing, um, like just one miniseries. The creator Mike White actually came to fame by winning Survivor, I believe, if my
I
memory
love that.
serves. Yeah, he was
That's
at the very
hilarious.
least he was a contestant on Survivor, memorable enough that when you say Mike White, most people go, "The guy from Survivor." Um,
Really?
but
Oh,
he is a screenwriter. Is I guess his day job now, and so he wrote The White Lotus as a limited series for HBO, and it was such a huge success that they tapped him. Was like, well, can you find a way to do another season? And so so the first one is set at a resort in Hawaii, appropriately enough called the White Lotus. And then the second season is mostly an entire new cast of characters. Jennifer Coolidge, who is in season 1 and 2, and who is just amazing. I don't know why she disappeared for so long, but I'm just glad that she found a new role that people see how great she is. what an amazing comic actress she is. But this one is another White Lotus resort. This time it's in Sicily. But it's the same kind of basic premise of, extremely wealthy people and just sort of the decadence and the corruption and the awfulness of their existence, right?
Sounds bleak.
It's not, though. That's the funny thing. It's actually hilarious. It is, because again, it's a satire, right? So it's not like, okay, so a perfect example, a corollary is Succession, which is also on HBO, and it stars Brian Cox and a few other people. I hated it, and it's basically about the same thing, right? The decadence and corruption of wealth in America, but it is so deadly serious. It's so humorless. I watched one episode, and I'm like, I ain't watching this anymore.
Really? Like, what about the banter between I don't know their characters' names, but there's a tall, lanky.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, and then there's the other guy that's the in-law, like that's married in, right? Mm-hmm. And like with their banters, I'm always laughing at those two, with their conversations, how they're trying to plot stuff. Like, yeah, it's funny. Like, but you don't find any of the dialogue funny.
No, I mean there are funny moments like that. You talk about that banter, but that's what,
I love that
1% of the overall show, right? Otherwise, it's just like people just, I don't know. It's just too bleak.
It's just too bleak.
Yeah, it's like Breaking Bad, and The White Lotus isn't bleak.
Okay.
It is a satire, and there are dark moments, and these are people doing bad things, but they're doing them to each other, and it does it in a humorous way, and they have comedy of errors, and so it walks that line for me, and that's why I say, like, I don't know if I love it or hate it, right? Because it just keeps walking that line between the darkness of the satire, but then the silliness of these out of touch rich people, and how blessed their lives are, and how little they seem to realize how blessed their lives are in a lot of instances. Or contrary, the people who are very aware of how privileged they are and just revel in the corruption of it, like they thrive in that corruption, So it is interesting, though. I definitely recommend it.
Yeah, I just noticed that Aubrey Plaza's in it as
well.
Season
2. Yeah, she's in it. She's, I mean, I love Aubrey Plaza. She has one character that she plays, and she plays it in this character. It's she plays her character from Parks and Recreation, and and April Ludgate. And she plays it here too, right? And that's fine. It's a good shtick.
Yeah, it's funny. Like Aubrey Plaza, at least I find her a really impressive actress. The roles she gets cast in are just like what you say, they're from pretty much Parks and Rec. But she was also in the show Legion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She was terrific in that.
Yeah, she
was. She did such a good job, and it showed her range, like how talented she really can be if she just got the right role. Because that role that she played, I can't remember which Marvel character it is. But the Legion itself as a show, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun take on Legion and stuff like that. But that was years ago at this point. But I thought that ever since then, I don't think she's ever hit that bar where she had to actually use her acting chops the same.
Yeah, I've seen season 1 of Legion, loved it. But it took them forever to get the other 2 seasons up, and now I don't have Hulu right now, and it's on Hulu. So it was on my list since forever, but I just never, I don't know, it just never got bumped up to my watch.
It kind of, and also it's in that superhero genre, so I would expect you to kind of like whatever. Kind of anyway.
And I love season 1, but when season 1 came out, I hadn't been completely burned out of superheroes by that point. I still had investment in things. I mean, God, it was long enough ago. I was living in the rental house in Redmond by that point, so this was 2016, I think. Let's see if I'm right about that. No, that's not what I wanted. Yeah. Oh, no, that's World of Warcraft. Oh, 2017, but it's February of 2017, so I wasn't far off. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, so 2017, like I was still enjoying superhero movies. Infinity War wasn't quite out yet. I think
Hmm.
Captain America: Civil War was, I think, the movie du jour at that, the superhero movie du jour at that point.
Hmm.
So, anyway, all that's to say that I always wanted to go back to it, but never did for a variety of reasons.
Yeah, I got down to the last season and like the last few episodes, I just never went back to finish it. But I thought it
Mm-hmm.
was a really good. It was a really solid show. I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but now there's just so much stuff that's out that
Yeah.
you can't keep up with everything. So now you have to kind of pick and choose. So like based on us talking tonight, like I would love to watch Cabinet of Curiosities, but then there's also the Pinocchio movie to watch. There's other stuff on. Like I still want to watch other animated stuff that's on. Like there's so much. Yeah, when you have the time and day to do it.
Right.
We
I
live in a
know.
great time for all kinds of stuff, and then yet no time
Yeah.
to
Well,
enjoy.
my calendar is actually starting to cool off a little bit for the rest of the year. People are starting to hunker down and get ready for um, Christmas and New Year. I've got a party that I'm going to on New Year's, but really, I mean, I've got a thing I could go to on Wednesday, but I haven't decided if I'm going to go to it or
Hmm. Hmm.
not. And that's basically it, right? It's New Year's
Hmm.
party, and then maybe this thing on Wednesday, and then I've got nothing scheduled, um, and until after the first.
Hmm.
So
So
yeah,
you could easily be watching something if you wanted to.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, that's why I've been getting through the White Lotus so fast.
mhm. Yeah, yeah, I've seen it on HBO before, and I just haven't added it to my list yet. I was unsure what it was about, so but yeah, that one might be worth checking out as well. Hmm. Cool.
Hmm.
Well, meanwhile,
Mm-hmm.
I got this in.
Nice.
Yeah, again, the timing's not perfect, but all the key poses are there, and
Yeah.
then the staging needs to be fixed a little bit. I'm not happy with the staging with Calamity and stuff like
Yeah.
that, but I think for the most part, I'm pretty happy with at least the groundwork to work on the rest of this scene. Yeah,
Cool. Very
there
cool.
could be one more in between. Like right here, I could do one more in between. I could add right
Yeah.
here, and
Yeah.
then pick up, and then get into that. But I can do that later. The main ingredients are here for me to keep working on. To
Mm-hmm.
plus the scene later. So I'm happy with that.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, we've been going for a little over 30 minutes, so um, and since you're at a good stopping point, maybe we'll call it early tonight.
Hmm. Yeah,
So,
let's do
all
that.
right.
We can always resume next week.
Yeah, we'll pick it
Um,
up next week. I mean, I'll certainly be here. I actually have next Monday off.
oh,
So, yeah, the company gives us Friday and Monday off. So,
nice,
so if you're
nice.
here, I mean, it's the day after Christmas, so I don't know if you're even going to be around. If not, we'll
I,
just, we'll do like everybody else does and just, take a day off.
yeah. I guess we could just stay tuned to Meta/Facebook, and then
Yeah,
we'll know.
we'll
But
post a Facebook, let you know if we're going to stream next Monday or not. We don't really have an answer for you right now, but
yeah, but more likely yes.
yeah,
So
yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, we'll call it then. As always, you can head over to calamityjane.rocks that'll take you to our Patreon site. Please consider becoming a subscriber and helping us make this thing a reality. Um, you can also check us out on Facebook. Facebook is where we do most of our cartoon updates. Just follow us on there. It's just Calamity Jane Adventure Hour. And while it has been a little bit quiet last couple of weeks because life stuff has gotten in the way, we usually do 3-tweet stories on Twitter every week. Uh, our handle is at Jane Salamander, so go ahead and head over there and check it out. There's a whole backlog of stories that you can read anyway right now, so it's not like there's lacking for content. Other than that, yeah, stay safe out there, everybody, and we'll see you, if not 1 week, we'll see you in 2 weeks. Good night.
night.